What is up, everyone? Welcome into the Drites Bro Sports channel. Ethan here again with another ESPN mock draft. This one is once again from the 2 out of 12 full PPR. I am practicing for my home league draft here in about 5-6 days. And I'm trying to get your guys' opinion and help through the comments and the YouTube comments. So please feel free to let me know what you guys think of my pick, how I approach it, what's going on. Anything can help. I am not perfect, as I understand that. I also need help in these and like to hear people's opinions. Also, guys, we are about 9 days away from the NFL kickoff, so all of our drafts will be done pretty much within the next 9 days. If you want me to draft from your home league spot and try it out in a mock for you before you do your draft, please comment that as well, and I can get a video out for you as soon as possible. This one is going to start. We have a lot to talk about. As you can see, the rankings are looking a little bit different. CeeDee Lamb just got his contract as he goes before Christian McCaffrey. Now, I'm going to just do it. Normally, guys, I'm taking Christian McCaffrey, but I want to do a build in this video for you guys, and I want your opinion on this build. I'm going to start wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. So, obviously, in my real league, if CMC is going to be there at 2, I'm taking him. In any other league, if he's going to be there at 2, I'm going to take him. With the news of CeeDee Lamb getting his contract today, I'm assuming a lot of people in these mock drafts are going to take CeeDee Lamb first just because of the hype. I get it. I think I am leading CeeDee Lamb now. Let's talk about that first. CeeDee Lamb got his contract today, big contract, just a little under Justin Jefferson in amount of money per year. So good for them for finally figuring that out. It was very annoying having to wait on that. It still gives him about 2 weeks to get ready physically and with the team. I think it should be totally fine, no issues. So I, at the beginning of mock draft season, when I assumed the contract was going to get figured out earlier, I was very high on CeeDee. I always thought CeeDee. As the contract lingered and lingered and lingered, and we got closer and closer to now, I was going with more of Tyreek Hill, and I was buying into Tyreek Hill more as a safer pick. Now that the contract's figured out, I am okay. Probably like 55% CeeDee Lamb, 45% in on Tyreek Hill. You can't go wrong with Tyreek, but I just see a slightly more upside regarding CeeDee Lamb. So I'm probably going to go CeeDee Lamb into my home league at 2, assuming CMC is going to go at 1. So, yeah, that's cool. We're still waiting on Ayuk and, Trent Williams on the 49ers as well and a couple other guys. Ayuk's the big one, though. So hopefully that gets figured out within the next few days, but we shall see. So we went to Tyreek Hill on this. So, imagine I go CeeDee Lamb there, but Tyreek Hill is just fine as well. We're going to do probably a wide receiver build. And I mentioned in my last video or a couple videos ago, I know it sounds crazy, guys, but I promise you I'm liking the way all these teams are looking when I'm going sick wide receivers that I'm high on and are my guys with my first 3 picks. Trying to look for that 0 RB build and go quarterback and tight end at the 4 or 5 turn, and then just getting some wide running backs that I kind of like fine enough later to fill out the rest of the team. I'm really liking the builds, and I want to see what your guys' opinions are on this one and just see how the team looks. So let me know what you think at the end of the video, what you think of it. Now, let's get to the ESPN rankings, man. Oh, my goodness. Like I said, we're about 9 days away from kickoff. Almost all of us are going to be drafting this coming weekend, so we're like 5-6 days away from all of our main drafts happening. And ESPN decides to completely update and change all of the rankings a week before we all draft, less than a week before we all draft. So I wouldn't care. It's not that big of a deal ultimately. But I wouldn't care as much about it if they were like consistently updating them throughout the last month. They haven't really been. I've pretty much noticed no changes in like the past 3 weeks when I've been doing mock drafts on ESPN. And now all of a sudden, less than a week before most of us all do our redrafts, so it's completely different. I feel for all of you that draft, tomorrow or the next day, and you're like, have been mock drafting all season with ESPN, and then all of a sudden you get into your draft and it's completely different. Like that's, I'm not seriously hurt by it. I have a whole full 5 days at least practice, but it's kind of some BS if I say so myself. like I said, it'd be different if they were like consistently updating their rankings like weekly, but they just haven't been, and now all of a sudden they just switch it all up on us. So that's another thing in this video that we're going to look at, kind of messing around with the new rankings and seeing what we can get. I've already done one earlier, and I saw that a lot of people are in different spots. Some of the tight ends I like are like pushed down farther, so it's going to be for an interesting few days mock drafting and learning how I like to attack the draft. So now we're up again. Harrison's gone. I'm not a Pittman guy. I'm not huge on Mike Evans. I just don't like how he doesn't get a ton of targets. Huge on Drake London. So that's where we're going here. For the most part, I'm going Drake London over all those guys. Yeah, as you can see right here, Malik Neighbors is pushed up to 27 overall in the ESPN rankings. I love that. I hope my league mates draft him in the 3rd round and let some other guys fall to me. I did do a mock draft earlier, though, and he still ended up falling to like the 5th round. So I don't know if people are buying it yet or not, but it's really interesting to see the rankings. The running back rankings are a little different. Alvin Kamara's up there now. Yeah, crazy stuff. So, yeah, we're going to do this build for you guys and just kind of see what you think. I am technically going to be reaching on one of these receivers a little bit, but it's just a guy that I think could easily finish top 10 if he stays healthy. Before we take our guy here, I'm going to just go ahead. Before we talk about Cooper Kupp, I'm going to take Cooper Kupp. Yeah, see, it's a little bit of a reach. And if I'm getting CD, I would also be okay considering Waddle. I just think Cooper Kupp's ceiling is, like, he's finished wide receiver number 1 before. I think if Tyreek Hill's healthy, there's no chance Waddle's finishing top 5. So we're going to reach a little bit on Cooper Kupp. Now, I wanted to talk about Debo. I really like Debo. The problem is I'm going to cool off on him if Ayuk's going to stay there. I'm like super high on him right now because I like Debo a lot personally, just as a player, but also like the potential Ayuk is going to be leaving the team, and that all of a sudden makes Debo like a 2nd-round pick. So we're hopefully, once again, these annoying contract situations, hopefully maybe the CD contract being done today pushes the guys over in the 49ers organization to get Ayuk's announced here soon or figured out, and we'll see it within the next couple days. But if I go into my draft and we don't know if Ayuk's on the 49ers or not, I'm going to just like play it safe and go Cooper Kupp. I am chilling on Debo. I love Debo, but I'll chill on him and I'll go Cooper Kupp. Now, if Ayuk gets traded before this weekend, I am going to pick Debo Samuel there over Cooper Kupp. Actually, I'll probably pick Debo Samuel before I even pick Drake London. And I'd rather have Debo Samuel than Drake London in that situation probably. So, yeah, still waiting on Ayuk's contract to see kind of what's going to happen with him and how I'm going to attack Debo Samuel in the draft. But, yeah, I am really liking this wide receiver star. I've also thought about wide receiver Josh Allen. I think what I've coming to the conclusion of is although there's a lot of wide receiver depth later, I just love the upside of these 3 guys. Maybe even Tyreek Hill being there, but like even replacing like CeeDee Lamb for Tyreek, and then Drake London I'm super high on going into this mock draft season. And then Cooper Kupp, like I said, could easily be top 10 if he stays healthy this year. I think having those like elite guys that I know are going to be solid in PPR makes me feel like it makes for a fun team going 0 RB. And I didn't even really look, and that's my bad, but I didn't even look at the running backs at those picks, which is totally my bad. I guess we can look like, yeah, none of the main guys that I would want there fell. Like I'm not unless Kyron or Derrick Henry is there. I'm not going to take one of them. So, also, ESPN did kind of agree with me on Devon Achane, and they moved him down a lot. So now you can get him in the 4th round. If he fell to me at the 411 in my home league, I probably would take him there. Like, that's totally fine value. That's actually good value on him. It's just when people were taking him at the end of the 2nd, beginning of the 3rd, I was like, nah, I'll pass there. I will build my team other ways. But now, if he happens to fall to me at the end of the 4th in my home league, I will take him and abandon the 0 RB strategy because I think that's great value there. So, but that's pretty much the only guy. Like, I wouldn't even take Ken Walker there. I'd rather just build a quarterback or tight end room. So, Patrick Mahomes, Hurts, and Allen all go. Also, Mark Andrews goes, so we can't get the Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson stack. However, we are still going to go Lamar because I really like Lamar as the end of a tier. I'm not in on Anthony Richardson. So I'm going to take Lamar, and then it's still totally fine. Let's take a look at RB this time. Yeah, I don't like Stevenson or Swift at all. Like, I'd rather just wait until the next round. They move David Montgomery down. I'm totally fine taking David Montgomery as my RB1 in a 0 RB build. So I can get him in the end of the 6th round. That's fine. Jalen Waddle's still there, which is crazy. That's like the risk you take when you go 0 RB and get wide receiver. If a guy like Jalen Waddle or, I reached on Cooper Kupp, like, I guess it's possible Cooper Kupp even falls down to the end of the 11th round. Like, it kind of hurts a little bit just because I'd much rather, like, have had Josh Allen than Cooper Kupp and then, like, gotten Cooper Kupp at the end of the 4th. So that's the risk you take. Like, Jalen Waddle's a great value there. I already have 3 running backs. Wow. And that's why some of these other guys are like, how is Laporta still there? Okay, I mean, I doubt that's going to happen in my home league, but if Laporta's there, absolutely take him every time. You can see these tight end rankings are so weird now. Like, Evan Ingram's way up there. Maybe it's because he caught 2 touchdowns in a preseason game that meant nothing against backups. I don't know. But I'm still Laporta, Kelsey, McBride, and then I still probably would rather have Kincaid and Kittle over Ingram. I just like the situation with better offenses in Buffalo and San Fran than I do Ingram. And I think Christian Kirk being in the slot, or where he should be in the slot this year, where we're all assuming he's going to be, I think Christian Kirk's going to take a lot of targets away from Ingram in the middle of the field. So I'm fine with passing on Ingram. I'd much rather have guys in better offenses like Kittle and Kincaid. I still really like Kincaid. Like, if Laporta wasn't there, I mean, I like McBride. But after McBride, it's definitely Kincaid for me. So let me know what you guys think of these tight end rankings and what you think of the tight ends in general. I mean, I don't like hate Ingram. It's just I'd rather just have other guys. I'd rather have Ingram over Pitts, I think. So I'll give you that. It's interesting though. We'll see. Like I said, this is my second mock with these rankings. Let's see what tight ends look like at the end of the 6th, because what I may end up doing is passing on tight end there, like assuming Laporta's not going to be there, and maybe I just go Lamar and like James Conner, who I really like just at the beginning of the 5th from our RB1, and then try to get Montgomery at the next turn with a tight end. So that's something to think about. We're going to see what the tight ends look like. So there goes Evan Ingram. If Kittle and Kincaid, one of them are here, I may decide to push off tight end in my redraft league and hope to get one of those guys fall to me at the end of the 6th, assuming that like a value like Sam Laporta won't be there. Like, the fact that Mark Andrews, Kelsey went that far ahead of Sam Laporta is nuts to me. I don't think that's ever going to really happen. If that happens in my home league, I'm going to be ecstatic. Like, this start to this team is insane. So, obviously, I'm really liking this first 3 wide receivers. It was a little weird because it ended up being Jalen Waddle falling there to the beginning of the 5th round. Huge value. I will say after Waddle, like, I'm not huge on Flowers, Pickens, Godwin, Tank Dell, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper. Like, that's the end of a tier is after Jalen Waddle. I'm okay with Calvin Ridley, and obviously I like Rashee Rice in the end of the 5th, 6th rounds, fine for Rashee Rice, but yeah, I mean, I'm just going to have to really keep thinking about it and trying all this out. So, yeah, Kittle and Kincaid are still there. Hurts a little bit. I mean, we got Laporta, so it doesn't hurt in this mock draft. I'm just thinking for my home league how I want to attack that. So now we're on running back, and here we go. Like, we have David Montgomery and Zamir White. I'd rather have Zamir White over David Montgomery just because I think Zamir White's probably going to be the workhorse. It works out because we get both of them, and that is perfect. It's like, if I had this team in my home league, I'd feel just fine with it. It's a little weird having Sam Laporta and David Montgomery, but at the end of the day, I'm getting guys from what should be a great offense, and I'm just taking the value. I really like this team. I think it's a very fun team. I'd be perfectly happy with that in my redraft league. So I want your guys' opinions here, if you're still watching the video, or if you watched to this point. would you rather me would you like assume for like a maybe just regular redraft leagues? Do you think it would be better for me to go like the CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, and then Drake London and Cooper Kupp, like the 3 wide receivers in a row, or do you think I should go those 2 wide receivers and then see if I could just get Josh Allen early instead of like where I picked Cooper Kupp at the beginning of the 3rd round, just get Josh Allen, and then I could attack like maybe a Jalen Waddle falls to me in the next, and at the end of the 4th, or maybe a T Higgins, maybe a Devontae Smith falls to me there, or if and take one of those guys as when we're doing a 0 RB build, and then look to see if Sam Laporte and Mark Andrews are there, and if not, maybe we just grab a running back and then try to get Kincaid at the end of the 6th. I would love the Kincaid Josh Allen stack. That would be awesome. But yeah, like maybe at the end of the 4th round, Waddle falls to us and we get him there. Or we could even just wait until our 5th round pick at the beginning of the 5th round to get like, if none of those guys were there, we could just reach for Rashee Rice, who we really like. Or maybe Calvin Ridley if I decide I want to be in on Calvin Ridley within the next 5 days. So, interesting. Ultimately, it comes down to the draft day. You don't know for sure what's going to happen. You just try to play the board and the values. So that's what we'll do. I can't believe Sam Laporta fell in this draft. That's the first time that's ever happened. Maybe something with the rankings being changed threw people off, and they let Sam Laporta fall to the beginning of the 5th round. So super, super fun team nonetheless in this mock draft. I really like it. If I had this team in my league, I would feel really fun about it. Maybe it's not like the best team, but it's fun, right? Like you get some crazy wide receivers that you get to watch every weekend. You get the sick running back or the sick quarterback and the sick tight end. And then you just get some safer maybe running backs. So here we go. Now we just pick Raheem Mostert. Now all of a sudden the running back room looks really, really cool, really fun as well. Let's look again for some values. Could go Brian Thomas Jr. here. Yeah, definitely no Worthy anymore. I'm okay just going running back again. Jonathan Brooks is way down here now. Like, Jonathan Brooks at this pick is a value. I also like Chase Brown lately, though. Sorry, my cat is begging, even though she's getting everything she wants and she thinks she needs more stuff. So, sorry, you could definitely hear her there. But, getting back on track, I'm going to go Chase Brown there. I think the upside with Chase Brown is really good. Obviously, pass catching back in a really good offense. Anything happens to Zach Moss, he should be fine. You could go Jonathan Brooks there, though. I will say, maybe like as an end of the year kind of league winner. I may end up doing that in my redraft league. Just getting Jonathan Brooks and just being like, I'll stash this guy through the first half of the season. Hopefully he comes on towards the end of the year and like I can put him in my starting RB position and he will take me through the fantasy playoffs. However, Chase Brown could easily just do the same thing. Like if Zach Moss last half the year gets an injury, Chase Brown takes over, and then all of a sudden he's winning you leagues at the end of the year. So, fine with either one there. Next pick, we're definitely not we're not like targeting running back. However, I'd be okay to take one and maybe go with. We'll see I just do not like any of these receivers. Maybe you could say DeAndre Hopkins. It sounds like he should be ready for week 1. He goes there, so he's not going to be there. And then it's Jalen Polk and Palmer, who ESPN raised them in rankings a little bit, which is how it probably should be. You just have to keep a better eye on them. They're not going to go undrafted now, I don't think. So, yeah, Chuba Hubbard's there. Nick Chubb's another guy you can stash. It sounds to me like Nick Chubb. I saw someone tweet today that Nick Chubb, to get his money guaranteed this year, he has to play 12 games at least, and he's going to start the season on the PUP I think it's PUP or injury reserved or something. Regardless, he's going to probably miss the first 4 games. So I think what the plan is for him to miss the first 4 games and then come back and hopefully just play the rest of the season. That's what it sounded like in the tweet I saw. Is he's going to try to be getting his money by playing the rest of the games after he comes off the PUP. So that's a guy I'm kind of targeting late now. That's who I'm going to pick if he falls to me, which I think he should. Yeah, let's take Nick Chubb. I mean, it's a little bit of a risky pick, but this late in the draft, and I'm just trying to build some wide receiver depth. That's totally fine. We're going to go, I know this is a lot of running backs. I just rather just get like Polk and Palmer later out of all these guys available. Maybe like a Shakir's fine. But I just really like the running back depth now with the new rankings. I feel like all of these guys I love. Like, it's really difficult. Like, I'm just going to say Charbonnet and Algier, great. I'm going to take Blake Corum in case something happens. Kyrie Williams, he's a guy I like to target. But also, like, McLaughlin's there. They're getting rid of Samaje Perine, it sounds like. So it's definitely just McLaughlin and Javonte Williams. That's another guy, actually. Like, you can start targeting Javonte Williams if I'm going 0 RB, I'm going to start targeting Javonte Williams a little bit more. Samaje Perine's out. It's literally McLaughlin and Javonte. That's like going to be the split backfield, and the guys behind them like are fine, but there's nothing crazy. So I'm kind of out on Dowdle. It looks like not fully out, but I'm way lower on him, as is ESPN, not because of the ESPN rankings, but it sounds like they're looking actively to sign another running back there in Dallas. Just said that Dalvin Cook's going to have a visit, and that just tells me that they don't trust a running back room. Like, obviously we don't trust Zeke, and they must not like Dowdle enough to like just keep him as in there. Still a guy you can take late. And he should easily be able to get him late because of where he's ranked now, even lower where he was. But he's down there for a reason, I think. And it's because the Cowboys are realizing that the running back room sucks, and Dowdle hasn't impressed enough to where they don't feel like they need to go get anyone else, and that kind of scares me. So, like, if they get someone else, it's going to be the guy they sign and Zeke and then Dowdle the third. That's how I'd picture it. Maybe Dowdle wins over, or Zeke gets hurt like he always does, and then Dowdle's still second, but like that's still not a guy I really want that badly. So there you go. We have so many we just went 6 running backs in a row, which is nuts. But that's what you can do if you stack up on wide receivers early. I mean, you just take all these flyers on running backs late. And I actually love the running back room that I have now because of what I was able to do because I got wide receivers late. And now I just take, with my last few spots, I just take any wide receiver that I think has upside. I don't think it's going to happen, but if Polk falls to me, you can think about Polk. Mitchell's down here still. Palmer's there. Wilson's there, like him. Wicks is down here. Trey Tucker, if you think Trey Tucker is going to be. I mean, I'm just not taking the third wide receiver on the Raiders. That doesn't seem like there's much upside there. But maybe you like Trey Tucker, and then after that, it's pretty bland. Besides maybe Tolbert. Also, Tim Patrick is looking like he's going to get traded or released as well. So if you ever thought you were going to be taking Tim Patrick, I'd hold off on that for now. Luke McCaffrey is down there. These are more guys that you take in like super deep leagues. You don't even really need to worry about them in start sevens. Let's see who we get here. Ooh, okay, so I'm looking at probably Polk and then Palmer, I think. Yeah, let's go Polk. I like getting Polk, and it looks like Drake May's honestly coming on a little bit. Like he's kind of cooking in preseason, and Brissett just got hurt. Sounds like Brissett's injury isn't like major or anything. It sounds like he could have just still kept playing in the last preseason game yesterday, but I mean, it just like reminds me of the situation with Justin Herbert getting put in when the staff like messed up Tyrod Taylor's lung, and then all of a sudden Herbert goes in there and crushes, and then it's like, oh, sorry, Tyrod Taylor, like your career's over because of this. And now it's like I see that same pathway now with Drake May. It's like Jacoby Brissett gets hurt in a meaningless third preseason game where, like, if he's actually going to be the starter, like, why is he in there? And then Drake May comes in and, like, balls out. It's like, sorry, Jacoby Brissett, but, like, Drake May's this is why we drafted him. Like, we want him to be in anyways. Like, your career's over now, bud. I can see the same situation happening. So take a little bit of Polk there. At the very least, the end of the season, like if a receiver gets hurt and Drake May ends up getting in there and playing, Polk could be a great pick. So Polk, will do one more wide receiver since we took so many tight end or running backs. Still several guys on here we like. I doubt Wicks will be there, but I'm totally fine with Wicks. If Wicks isn't there, I don't like any of these top guys. I'll probably go with like Bateman or Tolbert. Those are the guys I'd probably take this late if you're trying to look for a wide receiver. Maybe Marvin Mims, if they're letting go of Tim Patrick and Samaje Perine, maybe that opens the door for Mims. I think it more so opens the door for like Cortland Sutton. Like, Cortland Sutton's a better pick now, and I think they must like Josh Reynolds. They paid him this offseason, so like Josh Reynolds will probably take Tim Patrick's spot, and then maybe Mims on the outside. So there you go, Mims maybe, if you really want. Once again, though, like I'm a Broncos guy. That they're the team I root for. I'm just not like super high on the Broncos offense this year. We may get very lucky and get Wicks. Kind of gonna pause here for a second and pay attention to see if he's there. If he's not there, it's going to feel a little bit bad. But it's not the end of the world. We'll see. Come on, pick 9. Yeah, and there goes Wicks. Dang it, he was almost there. That would have just been like the cherry on top of the sundae to end this mock. In this mock, we don't have CD. I think that's even, like, let's just go Tolbert. I'm tempted to just go Marvin Mims. Yeah, let's go Tolbert. I think he's developing a connection with Dak while CeeDee Lamb's been, like, just sitting out, waiting for his contract. Ooh, Aubrey. Okay, Aubrey's a baller. If he's there the last two rounds of your draft, take Aubrey. He's a great kicker, as we've seen in this preseason. I think he drilled a 66-yarder last week or something. That's cool. We'll take a kicker and then be done with this draft and rank it. I like I keep saying, though, before we're done, guys, let me know what you think of this start, like the wide receiver start. Like I said, I'd put out there, like, maybe instead of going 3 receivers, I go 2 receivers and then reach on Josh Allen and hope that maybe a Waddle or a Devontae Smith falls to me at the end of the 4th round, and I take them as my 3rd wide receiver. And then I can look for tight end there, or maybe take a running back like James Conner and wait for tight end until the end of the 6th round and look for Kincaid or Kittle. It's very hard to tell just because you just don't know what your league's going to draft like, and I think that's why you can't, as much as I want to set a plan, you just have to be super flexible and locked in and just pay attention to how your league mates are drafting, see where the runs on quarterbacks go, see where the runs on tight ends go, and just take the values. So let me know what you guys think. Just let me know how you think the team ended up looking going wide receiver. I personally think it's a super fun team. I'm not expecting to get Sam Laporta at the even at the end of the 4th, let alone the beginning of the 5th round. I didn't even notice he was there before I took Lamar Jackson, or else I probably would have just gone Sam Laporta at the 4-11. Crazy value in this mock, but just let me know how the team looks. Maybe assume that, like, I won't be getting Sam Laporta there. Maybe I would have reached on Kincaid there, or like I said, maybe went James Conner there, and then try to get tight end in the next turn. So let me know. Kind of keep that in mind as well. Let me know what you think. I think it seems like a super fun team. So I'd be totally fine if this was my team in my redraft league. So let's rate it. The problem here is like, obviously I don't love the running back room, but the thing is I did 0 RB, and I still got that running back room, and I got them in the end of the 6th, beginning of the 7th round, those 2 guys. So can I really say I don't like it? Like, I kind of like it if that's where I'm getting guys, and that's like, and that kind of value's falling to me there, and I'm getting, like, the rest of my team is just absolutely insane. I think that is just fine. Lamar Jackson should be top 5 quarterback in fantasy, the very minimum, like top 6 or 7. He should be. That team should be great this year. Fine with having Lamar Jackson on my team, no doubt. For being able to wait on that running back room feels great as well. Just fine, at least. Solid. Obviously went wide receiver, so that position room is stacked. Sam Laporta falls to us at the beginning of the 5th round. Craziness. That's A+. I don't think I ever see that happening. Built out the bench going wide running back heavy because we waited so long for that 0 RB build. We ended up getting Raheem Mostert still, and then other guys like Chase Brown, Blake Corum, who I think have high upside, and then Nick Chubb. The more I look at it, the bench running backs completely make up anything I feel towards the starting running backs, and I think my running back room is just fine. I wouldn't say it's an A, but it's like a B. It's totally passable in my opinion. And then we go with just some late wide receiver flyers. So the wide receiver position is, in my opinion, much easier to find on the waiver wire throughout the season than it is running backs. So even though I have a weaker receiving bench, like wide receiver bench, I'm fine with dropping like a Josh Palmer, Jalen Tolbert for like a guy that I could see going off through the first couple of weeks, and I think that they're worth it for the rest of the season. So I'd much rather be in that position than have, 3 running backs that I don't really like that much and having to find a running back on the waiver wire. So, yeah, this team is really fun. Wouldn't say it's like the most solid team I've drafted, but it's really fun, and I definitely factor that into my ranking. Ranking out of 10 here, let's give it I'm going to give it like an 8.9, which seems like a weird ranking. I think I'd like it more if I had CeeDee Lamb in there instead of Tyreek. And then maybe I would have liked it more as well as if the draft worked out to where I got, instead of Cooper Kupp a little early, I went Josh Allen there a little early, and then I would have had Jalen Waddle fall to me in my flex. That would have been like a 9.8. That would have been the best mock draft I would have ever had. Didn't work out that way. Ultimately, you don't know how it's going to continue to play out. You just try to find the values when you can and hope it works out and do your best. So let me know your guys' opinions, though. This is going to be it for this one. I am trying my best to prepare for my home league. If you guys want me to draft from your home league spot, get that in really quickly because I'm only going to be able to get those out within the next handful of days before all of our drafts are going on. As the season starts, we'll change up the content obviously a little bit. So hope you guys have found this video entertaining or helpful. If you did, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll keep getting out content through the sports seasons. And that's going to be it for today, guys. Have a good one. Peace.